Hi, and welcome to my guide. Today I will teach you my ways of killing Zulrah using only magic. Why only magic, you ask? Well, using magic only is very easy to learn, and a lot easier to master as well. You'll be taking barely any damage, regardless of your defense level, since you'll be praying against the ranged phases, dodging the melee phases, and blocking the mage phases using the pillars found on Zulrah's shrine. You can do very long trips. I've done 7 kills at best a few times, before needing to bank. This is because you take very little damage and have room for more food because you don't have a range switch. The kills are pretty fast. Obviously a range switch will make for faster kills, but the difference is not necessarily very big. And it has somewhat low requirements, which we'll get to in a minute. Zulrah is a boss which uses a lot of unique mechanics. He has 3 different phases, known as the normal phase, aka the range phase, the magma phase, aka the melee phase, and the tanzanite phase, aka mage phase. Zulrah has 4 different rotations, where Zulrah will counter a predictable pattern once you know which rotation you have. The key to learning Zulrah is getting a feel for these rotations and having them all memorized. This is a lot easier to do when you're only using magic, as you won't have to keep nearly as much in mind. Next to the faces, you'll see a picture of Zulrah's rotations, which is from the wiki, but I've edited it to match my way of killing Zulrah. I recommend that you have my picture of the rotations open on the side where you're killing Zulrah, and try stand near the yellow dot in the picture. The faces each have different looks. The normal face is green, the magma face is crimson, and the tanzanite face is turquoise. Against the normal faces, you'll typically want to pray protection from ranged. However, it's not necessary every time. The normal face of Zulrah is your best friend, as you will be dealing most of your damage on this guy. Near the end of every rotation, there will be a so-called Jad phase, which looks like a normal phase but will alternate between range and magic attacks. It is a common death to Zulrah noobs, and I had trouble with it myself when I was new to Zulrah. However, it's very easy to kill, as it can always be predicted what attack it's gonna use and when. On rotation 1 and 2, the Jad phase will always use ranged first, then magic, and then range, etc. And on rotation 3 and 4, it will do magic first, and then range, and then magic, etc. Keep in mind that your protection prayer will only help you if you have the correct one on when Zulrah's attack animation starts, and not when the attack hits you. I recommend switching to the next prayer right after you see the first attack go off. For example, in rotation 3, you have a pro mage on first, and then switch to ranged right after you see the fireball appear. You don't need to pray anything against the magma phase, and its attacks can simply be dodged by either running back and forth or by standing by a pillar. This phase is known to be quite tanky, but you will do some decent damage in this guy if you have high magic level and attack bonus. If not, you're lucky to get a single hit on the phase. When killing Zulrah using Mage only, the Tanzanite phases are to be avoided completely. This is because it has a very high magic level, meaning extremely high magic defense. The Tanzanite phase also attacks with both magic and ranged randomly, so it will damage you regardless of prayer, which is a large part of what makes Zulrah a somewhat hard boss in the first place. Because of this, we won't even bother with rotation 4, as you will have a hard time dealing damage on Zulrah, as there are several Tanzanite phases that are completely unavoidable. It might, however, be useful to know the start of this rotation, in case you'd get it as a secondary rotation after not getting the kill during the first one, in which case you might still be able to finish the kill if you have much supplies left. The Tanzanite phase can and will be avoided by blocking him off using the pillars found on Zulrah's shrine. In order to kill Zulrah at all, you should at least have done Regicide to the point where you reach Port Tyrus, in order to get there by charter boat. You also should at the very least have 50 magic for Ibon Blast, decent HP to not get comboed out by Mist Prayer and or Snakelings, and 40 Prayer for protection from ranged. If you want to be able to kill Zulrah efficiently, you should have 76 agility, or be able to boost to 76 with either Summer Pie or Agility potions, and having done Fairy Tail Part 2 to the point where you unlock Fairy Rings and the Regicide completed. This will give you the best transportation to Zulrah. You should also at the very least have 75 plus magic for tridents, but having higher, like maybe 90 plus, is recommended since you'll be dealing all your damage with magic. If you're an Ironman, you'd need 87 Slayer as well to get the trident in the first place. You should have 45 plus prayer for Mystic Might, Augury is extremely good if you're rich enough, but having a high prayer will help you either way, as it makes killing Zulrah cheaper, easier, and will make your trips longer. Decently high HP will help you stay alive, but it doesn't need to be very high as long as you have decent food. I myself like to use pineapple pizza, but if you think they're too slow to eat, you can bring sharks, and maybe a few Karam ones. Decent gear, or cash for gear, is of course very helpful. The recommended gear is pretty much just maximizing your magic damage and attack, while also keeping your prayer bonus in mind. You can customize your gear however you feel it should be, once you have a feeling for how you can best get fast and cost-efficient Zulrah kills. I can also recommend the Serpentine Helm, as this will allow you to be immune to venom, and so save you inventory slots, a little bit of money, and give you one less thing to keep in mind. A good cheap option for Serpentine Helm is using a Vestment Miter. Miters give you a +4 magic attack and a +5 prayer bonus. They might look ridiculous, but they're definitely comparable to the better slot magic headgears. To get to Zulrah, you have two options pretty much, and those are the recommended one is to use Fairy Ring, where you use any way to get close to Fairy Ring. The other options are using a what's it called, Slayer Ring, or and the code is BJS. You can use a Slayer Ring, you can use a Quest Cape, I believe is pretty good, and the RD Cloak is also alright. But I think this there's no requirements to use a Self Graveyard Teleport, so everyone can use that. And then you simply just run east until you get to this bridge, where you can go to Zulrah Shrine. Another option, if you don't have Fairy Rings unlocked, or if you actually haven't completed the entire regicide, or if you just don't have the agility level, you can teleport to Camelot, however you do that. Enter. Yeah, and from here, just run southwest. And you can take the charger ship. You don't have to use this from Catherby. You can pretty much use any way to bridge a charger ship. You can also teleport the Catherby through Lunar Spellbook, and the Arctic Cloak can teleport you near Port Khazard. You can also teleport from there. It'll cost you 3,200 if you to do it from Catherby. If you don't have, I think it's Cabin Fever completed, then you just run from here. It's south, exploring for energy, Xampor. And you can see here is where I got with the fairing, so it's a bit closer and it's faster to get there. And then I'm by the shrine. So then you just go to the bridge and you board the boat, sacrificial boat, and then you're at Zulrah. Now I will be getting into actual clips of me doing Zulrah, starting with rotation 1. As soon as I board the boat, you'll see me running towards the northeastern corner right away. And I put on my magic prayer. And I try to get as much damage as I can on this first phase. This is rotation 1, so after this phase there will be a melee phase. I stand with my quick prayers ready in case it would be rotation 3, because if it would be rotation 3 I would have to be fast with the range prayer. And I simply run to dodge the attacks, and then I run to hide behind the pillar, so the pillar is between me and the Tanzanite phase, and you see me standing between those two. And now now I can see there's rotation 1 and not rotation 2, because Zulrah spawned to the south and not to the west. And there, after 4 attacks, he stops shooting me, and I turn off my range prayer. And now I put on long range and fall back, so I can shoot him while the clouds are there. This is not pure friendly, as long range will give you this defense XP. Now it's another melee phase, and you'll see me, yeah, just dodging the attacks. And then I run to hide behind the pillar again, as the Tanzanite phase will appear to the west. Then comes a range phase where I don't need the prayer range, because it's yeah, just it only shoots clouds and shoots out snakelings. And by the way, I take care of the snakelings using only my recoil ring in these clips. Sometimes I kill them myself with either mage or melee prayer on, but here I try to kill Zulrah to make it as simple as possible. And now I hide from the Tencent phase again, and I run to the west in order to avoid as much damage as I can from the clouds, and I get ready to meet the Jad phase. The Jad phase on rotation 1 and 2 will always start with a range attack. I switch to the magic prayer right after the range attack is being shot from Zulrah. I also pay attention to the poison clouds to the east, because as the last poison cloud disappears, I know that Zulrah will shoot 3 more attacks and then will start shooting poisonous clouds, so I start running to the northeast corner again. Now comes another magma phase, and I'll simply run back and forth and dodge the attacks as usual. Now I turn on my quick prayers for protection from range and mystic might. And I finish the last phase of the rotation. Rotation 2. Yeah. Shooting straight into the action, here we have me fighting Zulrah rotation 2. I'm ready to turn on my quick prayers in case it will be rotation 3, because then I have to be quick with pro range. I dodge the attacks here, as usual, on the magma phase. And I run to to block the Tanzanite phase. After this one disappears, I stand ready to turn on protection from range here, but I realize it's a rotation 2, so I don't need pro range, as it will not shoot me directly, only shoot poison clouds and snakelings. And I stand here in order to block the Tanzanite phase. Then after he starts shooting his snakelings, I stand in place in order to not stand in the cloud and also be able to hit the magma phase that comes now without having to dodge the attacks. So here he doesn't focus me because there's a pillar in the way. And I run to this specific block here, this square, so I can reach Zulrah and be fast enough to run back before the Tanzanite phase hits me. I shoot 4 attacks and then run back. And I take a no recall so I don't die from snakelings. And now I get ready for the Jad phase, which is the same as in rotation 1. I turn on my pro range, and as always I switch right after I see the first attack coming up, and I pay attention here to the poison clouds again. I see it disappears now, so we should magic, range, and magic, and then I run away. It's as simple as that, folks. As usual, I run back and forth, dodge the magma phase. I lagged out there a bit, but I didn't take damage for some reason, and I turn on my pro range to kill him off. It appears I was pretty unlucky with my hits and didn't get the kill during the first rotation, but that's okay, because I'll be able to kill it during the second one, which I will not be doing on the clip, because that's not part of the rotation. Rotation 3. You are going to love this rotation. This is probably where you will be getting your first kills, and probably where you will have all your personal bests. This is pretty much the mage only Zulrah killer's wet dream. So I stand here, just fire at Zulrah, and I turn on my pro range as soon as I see its rotation 3. And I wait for Zulrah to shoot 4 attacks, and then I turn off pro range. Let him shoot 2 snakelings, and then I run to hide behind the pillar from the magma phase. I think the kill count I'm gonna get from this kill tells you pretty much how good this rotation is. And I stay behind this pillar so I don't get hit by that Tanzanite phase. And it's gone. Now I shoot 4 attacks, or I let Zelda shoot 4 attacks, and then I run to hide behind this pillar. No damage taken, and the snakeling died before I got there. Now I simply stand here, no need to pray, just shoot. Then I go 1 step south and turn on pro range. And now I have to run to hide behind the eastern pillar for a Tanzanite phase, which is in the middle of the shrine. And now I get ready for the Jad phase. Just run back to the northeast corner, turn on pro range and pro magic and mystic might, because Zulrah will start with magic instead of range on rotation 3 and 4. But you don't have to bother doing 4, as I said earlier. And I do this as I do the other Jad phases. But here I don't have to worry about running away, because he will not start shooting any clouds. I can just stand here until he goes. And another Tanzanite phase, which does not shoot anything, other than snakelings, so I can just stand here, wait for it to go by. Here I shoot a snakeling without prevail, and I pre-range against the final phase. I'm not gonna bother with the clip of rotation 4, as I barely ever do it when I'm using only magic at Zulrah. If you do get rotation 4 as your first rotation, just relog or hop worlds and you'll be teleported back to Zulrah. Instead, I'll be showing a kind of old clip of me killing Zulrah on my Ironman with pretty damn low stats and using Iron Blast and Mystic, as you see. So just to show that it is very possible to kill Zulrah with limited gear and stats if you use only magic. First, I can tell you that I do not recommend trying to do Zulrah efficiently or often or so if you're using Iron Blast and shitty gear and stats like this. I highly recommend getting better stats and getting a trident at least, and I mean like RMs and shit like that, before you try doing like a lot of Zulrah. And this is a clip of my Ironman from like a few months ago. So yeah, it's just me doing a Zulrah kill. I've done a few on this account, not so many because I don't have trident yet. So I just think it's annoying because Iron Blast is so fucking slow and delayed. So yeah. It's a bitch to use, especially when it's the only weapon you're using. I'm like, there's not much to commentate here really, because I've gone through everything I do. It's just here I concentrate a lot on the prayer flicking because I don't want to waste prayer pots on my Ironman, and also but I still want to make sure to get my mystic might and of course my range prayers when I need them. Pineapple pizza are a very easy food to get as an Ironman if you are an Ironman who wants to do a Zulrah kill, but you don't feel like you have the food for it. You just need like 65 cooking and entrance to the warrior's guild. So. As you may have noticed as well, I am using anti-poisons and not anti-venoms here, also because I haven't unlocked them yet. And it makes the tanking a lot more difficult, especially since I'm using Iron Blast, and this shitty gear and stats, which makes my trips sometimes like 7 or 8 minutes long. I always have to go through 2 rotations, which and always in the second rotation, if you have two, there will be a random phase of some sort, which can really fuck me over. But um, yeah, that's pretty much why I don't do a lot of Zulrah on this account. And the snakelings as well make it hard to tank it for long. But it's pretty much the same procedure as when I do it on my main using a trident. But I don't do it as much on this account because it's so inefficient, man. Since the recording of these clips, which was like a few months ago, I've been slacking with a video, very sorry. But since the recording, I've done a lot more Zulrah, like 400 or 500 more kills. And I've noticed that the most efficient way to do it with magic only is by going to a house portal in between kills. So you can go there and restore your health and your prayer and your run energy and take a fairy ring from there. And if you have an imbued heart, it's really good as well because you don't have to bring in a pots. And once you're very good at Zulrah, you don't even need to bring any food anymore because you don't uh, provided you have a decent HP level, you can last with that through the entire kill and then just restore your health and prayer. Um, but I've also done a lot using a range switch, which is pretty significantly faster kills, I've noticed. As you may have seen here, my personal best using only magic was 139, and now it's like 105, 107, I think, when I started using range. I'm 99 range as well, so yeah, that's a lot more efficient, but it's also a lot harder to learn. So I think the best thing about using magic only is that it's so much easier because you don't have to keep as much in mind at all because you take so much less damage and you don't have to do any switches. All you have to do is shoot the faces that you shoot and then hide from the magic faces, and that's pretty much all there's to it. And it's a lot easier to learn the rotations when you don't have to think about all the other shit that you have to do when you're using your range switch and shit. So yeah, that's pretty much all I had to say in this guide. Thank you very much for watching. I really hope I helped you out, and if I helped you get some of your first kills going on Zulrah, uh, I'm very glad I could help you. And have a good one.